Hey guys, it's Dane with DynastyBreaks.com. Welcome back. We are doing part 3 of the 1993 Topps Finest Baseball Refractor set review. If you haven't watched this playlist, I do have a playlist on our YouTube channel. Make sure you watch part 1 and part 2. I'll have those links in the description below. Before you watch this video, we're doing cards 101 through 150, 93 Finest, the first ever premium card set, the first ever appearance of the Refractor, and the first Chrome cards as well. Everything we have today in the hobby started right here. There's 241 copies of each card, uber rare, pretty expensive set. This set is SGC graded, as you saw in the first 2 videos. Maybe the only SGC set out there. Not totally sure on that. We'll talk a little bit about population reports, and we're going to get into a lot of the all-stars. We got the Nolan, the Griffey. So stay around. And again, here's video number 1. You need to watch this first. And then go watch video number 2. We hit some of the all-star cards at the end of that video. So make sure you check that out before you watch this one. All right, we'll get into it. I got some info on some of the players that we'll watch here. I got my little note sheet over here. Terry Pendleton, probably not one of the all-star cards you're hoping for. And a lot of these cards, as we talked about before, I've got an 86. This is the old style SGC grading scale, 1 to 100, but they do put the numerical grade underneath. A lot of these cards are off-centered. Very difficult to find these in a, even in a 9 grade. Very tough. All right, we've got the Big Hurt, Frank Thomas. This is a Pop 3 card at SGC. There are 3 8s. There are 2 copies graded higher. I think 2 9s. So that is that's a pretty big card there. I've noticed the population on these has started to increase. Some of these cards had only been graded once ever by SGC. Like the card I had was it. I've noticed they've started to increase. Well, I don't think people are opening boxes. What I think's happening is people are maybe taking their Beckett slabs, trying to cross them over to SGC. Which I'm not a huge fan of. We'll talk about that. It kind of dirties up the population report. So now the same card shows on Beckett's pop report and on SGC. It looks like there's more cards than there actually are. So I think that's happening quite a bit. With this set. Greatest baseball player of all time? Hard to argue. Barry Bonds. Not the greatest guy of all time. Not even top 10 million on that. Barry Bonds, a very big card here. SGC 8. Anything an 8 grade I'm happy with. Anything below that I really would like to upgrade. The problem is there's a lot of these cards have only been graded by SGC between 3 and 6 times. There's only 6 out there. So they don't come up for sale in an SGC slab. So the only option I have is to buy a PSA slab and cross it over, which again I don't like doing because it's increasing the population every time I do that. So going to be a long road to upgrade some of these. Roger Clemens, love this card, PSA 8 or SGC 8. Playing for the Red Sox back then. Really off-centered, and you can tell on this one the back as well, pretty off-centered on the back. Right to left. All right, my guy Ryan Sandberg. This would be one. Hasn't been graded very many times. And I'm not going to talk a lot about the All-Stars. You guys know about a lot of these guys. Several first ballot Hall of Famers. The highest grade on the Sandberg is an 8.5. There's not a higher grade than an 8.5. So at SGC, if I want to upgrade, it's not going to be much. Not going to be much. Fred McGriff, of course, the first 9 I'm showing you. Fred McGriff, probably not. I would probably take a 9 in almost all the ones I just showed you, except for Terry Pendleton, maybe. Fred McGriff, still a Hall of Famer. He got in. You can see the pretty dead on centering. Pretty close to dead on. It's about as good as it gets. There are a very limited number of SGC 10s. There's only been 3 Fred McGriffs ever graded, period. All right, here's my sob story. This is one I have to upgrade. And I've got a little story behind this one. This is obviously one of the gems, the crown jewels of the set. This is the Nolan Ryan. Way off-centered as most of them are. I think there's 8 PSA 10s. There's 44 PSA 9s. Everything else is an 8 or less. There's only about 6 ever graded by SGC. Only 6 ever graded. This was a PSA 9 off-center with an OC qualifier. So if you're ever thinking I can swap over my qualifier and it'll only drop at 1 or 2 grades, that's not true. PSA 9 off-center converted to an SGC 6. I was hoping for a 7. And if you ever notice on the Nolan Ryan, on his face, there always seems to be on a lot of the cards a little bit of discoloration. Very common. I've even seen PSA 9s with the same issue. It's almost like a greening, like you see on Refractors in the 90s basketball sets. A lot of greening, or Topps Chrome sets from the 90s. But yeah, this is one I've been looking for a long time for an SGC copy to come up for sale, and I just haven't seen it in the last few years, and I'm not willing to risk buying another PSA copy. The Nolan was the only card I had that was not SGC graded. To truly have the set, SGC set, I had to do it. I had to swap it over. I had to mess up the pop report, as I call it. I hate doing that. That would be one exception when you're one card away. I think the Nolan was, like I said, PSA. Everything else was SGC. I wanted to say I've got the SGC set. Now I can say that, but it's a 6, and it's sort of like a pimple on the quality of my set. So I definitely need to upgrade that. My guy, Will Clark, should be a Hall of Famer in my opinion. Giants retired his number. Got some notes on Will Clark here. 303 career hitter, but not in the Hall. I won't show the back of a lot of these. All right, this guy, yeah, this is one you don't want in the All-Star set. And of course, I have a 9 in this one. Pat Listach, just got the AL Rookie of the Year in '92. So I'm assuming they threw him into the '93 Finest set. 5 home runs in his whole career. 5 home runs in his whole career. 251 batting average. Not so good. But he's in the All-Star set, and he's right next to Griffey. All right, this is the card of the set. And I am super happy having an 8.5 grade. The centering on this card is great. SGC 92. It would have to be a 96 to get a 9 grade. And then it would have to be a 98, I believe, to get a 10 grade, which is almost impossible. Love the centering on this. There may be a surface issue. There's also surface bubbles. I'm thinking it might be right there. You guys can see the little dot. But this is sort of the crown jewel of the set. Very valuable card and very sought after. I don't know that I would upgrade this one. It would just, I could sell this, try to get a 9. If an SGC 9 ever came available, I would think about it, but it would just be a lot of money to go up half a point. So I think I'm going to focus on the Nolan Ryan. Cecil Fielder, big Cecil. This one needs to be upgraded big time. This card's actually been graded quite a bit. Card's actually been graded. I think, I feel like this may be the highest population for SGC refractors, maybe 21 times it's been graded. Most of these are under 10 times, under 8 actually. This is horrible centering. It's like 95.5 centering, so big Cecil, love him. All right, my guy, Kirby Puckett, I am super proud of this. A SGC 9, died much too young. This is the highest graded example at SGC. It's a pop 3. There are 3 9s. And again, a lot of these cards there was only one of. So I always knew that I have the only SGC set. And Doc Gooden is keeping my hopes alive. Not because of his party habits or any sort of white powder. He's keeping my hopes alive because this card has only been graded 2 times by SGC. Only been graded twice ever. This is a 9. And so unless the other Doc Gooden is part of a complete set, then this is the only SGC set out there. So this keeps my hopes alive. Pop 2, which I think this is the lowest pop out of any of the 199 cards. I think that's correct. No, there's no more pop 1s anymore. Or only one ever graded. That's not out there. All right, Barry Larkin. I'll move a little bit quicker here, guys. Barry Larkin, my guy. Huge Larkin fan. Love me some Barry Larkin. And then after the All-Stars, we'll get into some of the more regular players here. I got some notes on their careers, and I want to just talk about the players they included in the set. David Cone, I always think of him as a Yankee, as most people do. He's on the Royals here. I'd be happy if I bought a box and pulled the David Cone. That wouldn't be horrible. Not my first choice, but it'd be all right. Cards are just beautiful, man. The last All-Star card, Juan Gonzalez. Pretty big fan of Juan Gonzalez. Being a Rangers fan in the 90s. Gonzalez, Canseco, Nolan Ryan, all in the All-Star set. Pudge Rodriguez is not. We've already reviewed his card. He had a regular card. All right. Let me move those over. All right, Kent Herbeck. We are pulling Kent Herbeck autos to this day out of Modern Topps products. So Kent's still involved hobby-wise. His number 14 is retired by the Twins. That's his claim to fame, I guess. Tim Wallach, 8.5 grade on that one. Kent, 5-time All-Star, 3-time Gold Glove award winner, 2-time Silver Slugger, and in the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. I still don't want to get this card if I'm trying to pull a refractor back in the 90s. I don't want Tim Wallach. I do want this one. He was just a young pup, so he did not make it into the All-Star set. Neither did Bagwell, actually. Craig Biggio, Hall of Famer. Love this card. Old school Astros uniform. This is a Pop 1. This is the only 8.5. There are 5 graded higher. There are 5 graded higher at SGC. Actually, he got in on the 3rd ballot Hall of Fame. Bobby Kelly. Look up Bobby Kelly. You're going to find a player from the 20s. I'm trying to find this guy. His name is Roberto Kelly. So they call him Bobby here. Bobby Kelly. Does he have anything going on for him? 3-time World Series champ. That'll work. Not the card you want to get. All right, Greg Olson, not the tight end. Kind of wish it was. SGC 9. SGC 9, very high grade. All-Star 1 time. Rookie of the Year 1 time. 1 time in the Orioles Hall of Fame. Yada, yada. All right, Eddie Murray. We don't need to talk much about it. Eddie Murray did it all, man. Eddie Murray, I would be super happy with this. He's on the Mets. Pretty high grade, 8.5. Super happy with that. First ballot Hall of Famer. Batting titles, home run titles, World Series championship, All-Star games. He did everything. Eddie Murray pretty much did it all. Just a huge career. Eddie Murray, love him. Will Cordero. Try to get into the players' personal lives a little bit here if they're kind of boring. Will Cordero, All-Star in 94, and many run-ins with the law after his career. Might want to look that up. Not sounding like the greatest guy in the world. Yeah. All right, Bones Buhner. I would be happy pulling one of these. I love Bones. Jay Buhner's awesome. Traded from the Yankees. Really bad trade for the Yankees. He's in the Mariners Hall of Fame. Even George Costanza on Seinfeld said, "Why did you trade Buhner?" Good grade on that. 92 I'm happy with. 5 and 8.5. Unlikely I'll ever upgrade. Hall of Famer. I love this picture. I love me some Carlton Fisk. Oldest catcher, I think. Oldest catcher to hit 20 home runs. Hall of Famer. On the 2nd ballot. This is the highest graded copy of this card at SGC. Just pretty much dead on centering. I love that card. All right, getting to our 2nd stack here. Eric Davis. Always remember him as a Cincinnati Red. Kind of a 5-tool guy. I feel like he's pretty good in every area. Correct me if I'm wrong. Tell me in the comments if I make a mistake on somebody or I'm wrong. Love you guys to comment on the videos and share them. If you got any 93 Finest fans, share this with them. That's an 8 grade Eric Davis. What do I have for Eric Davis? 40 steals in his first 62 games. I believe his rookie year. Might have played, got called up the year before, but in his first full year, 40 steals in 62 games. Pretty good. Doug Drabeck, 1 Cy Young Award, which is 1 more than Nolan Ryan. Not kidding. And 1 really great mustache. His son pitched in the majors as well. Kyle, I believe. All right, Ozzie Guillen as a player. I always think of him as a manager now. Still playing for the White Sox where he got manager of the year. Ozzie Guillen. He said some things he's probably not proud of. He's been in trouble a few times because of things he said. Might want to look that up as well. All right, John Wetland. Actually a pretty good player. I love me some Expos cards. Playing for the Montreal Expos here. What do I got on Wetland? World Series MVP. I think you automatically get into baseball's finest if you're a World Series MVP. Now remember, this card set's 199 cards, which is pretty normal for today. But back then, card sets were like 400 in Series 1, 400 cards in Series 2, things like that. Bowman was like an 800 card set. This is a very small set at the time. So they only wanted to put baseball's finest in the set. Well, he made the cut. He grew up in a log cabin. That's all I got. Just like Abe Lincoln. John Wetland. All right. Big Cat, Andres Galarraga. Had a couple battles with cancer, if I remember. He had a monster year for the Rockies in 93. 370 batting average. Was flirting with 400 for quite a bit. Highest average by a right-hander since Joe DiMaggio in 1939. Ken Caminiti. I was a big Ken Caminiti fan. This guy had a cannon for an arm. Pretty good hitter. Just a big dude. Big, intimidating dude. Had a drug problem. Really sad story. Died at 41 years old. Drug overdose. In the Padres Hall of Fame. He's an Astro here. A little bit earlier in his career. But he was a beast, man. Ken Caminiti. All right. From Caminiti to Candiotti. I don't know much about Tom Candiotti. He did play Hoyt Wilhelm in a movie, the movie 61. It was a Billy Crystal movie. He played Hoyt Wilhelm, the knuckleballer. Pat Borders in a 9. Looks like he's dropping a ball or taking one in the chest. I would feel like I'm taking one in the chest if I pulled a Pat Borders refractor out of a box of finest. I would be angry. This is the highest graded. It's a Pop 3. And I'm talking crap about him, but he was a World Series MVP in 1992. So I'm pretty sure the World Series MVP from the year before, he's getting in the set. He's getting in there. Kevin Brown, 8.5 grade. Kevin Brown playing for the Texas Rangers here. 6-time All-Star through a no-hitter, World Series champion, and a win leader. Pretty good. Travis Fryman, always like Travis Fryman. They put him in a lot of insert sets. He's in the 94 SP Hollowview and Hollowview die cut set, I believe. Travis Fryman, pretty popular. 5-time All-Star. Now a hitting instructor for the Guardians. I need to upgrade this card. Hadn't been graded very many times, so again, they don't come up for sale. And I don't want to cross cards over. I've done it once. I don't want to do it again. It was not successful. And there's one more Nolan Ryan out there in the universe on paper because I did that. Kevin Mitchell. Interesting dude. He won an MVP award in the NL. He was shot 3 times when he was a kid, when he was youth, and he did not play high school baseball. He just walked on and tried out, I guess, at the college level. Very interesting. And I didn't know he'd won an MVP till I looked it up. Did a little homework for this one. Greg Swindell. 17-year MLB career. Won a World Series with the Diamondbacks when they beat the Yankees. One more World Series than I have. Benito Santiago. They call him Benny. This was the first year the Marlins and Rockies existed. I feel really old. This was the 93 set, so they were just coming into existence. 5-time All-Star, Rookie of the Year, 3-time Gold Glove, NLCS MVP, and the first ever home run hit by a Marlin. Use that for your next trivia game. Benny Santiago, first Marlin home run. Reggie Jefferson, career 300 average, but a Seemed like a pretty short career. Don't know much about Reggie Jefferson. All right, this is Chris Sabo. Always get my 9 grades in guys like Chris Sabo. I'm trying to think my best 9 grades. So I've got an Ozzie Smith. Proud of that. Got a George Brett in a 9. And I've got a what's considered to be a short print. Apparently someone was hoarding Andre Dawson All-Stars. Apparently some collector has a ton of them, so there's not many out there. I have a 9 in that. So, but otherwise my 9s are mostly like Chris Bosio. Highest graded, this is a Pop 3. He did win a World Series. This is a popular card, and I have a 9 in a Deion Sanders. There you go, prime time. Pretty good baseball career. Averaged 261 hitter, something like that. Had over 150 steals, or what do you have? 186 steals is what I have down. Deion Sanders, I love that card. Playing for the Braves there. Scott Erickson. Scott Erickson, getting down to our last few cards here. He was on People Magazine's 50 Most Beautiful People in the year 2000. And he is not on the 50 Most Beautiful Finest Refractors. I just want, out of a 200 card set, he's not in the top 50 most beautiful here. So congrats on getting in the pretty people list. Following that up with a Johnson. They call him Hojo. Howard Johnson does not own the Motels. Does not play for the band The Motels. This is SGC 8. And 2-time World Series champ. And he had 1991, he led the league in home runs and RBIs. So I think that got him into the set for sure. I don't want to pull this card because I can't say it. Orestes Destrade. I guess I need to upgrade this card, but it would probably be pretty cheap for me to upgrade it if I can find one graded by SGC, which is going to be hard. He was on Baseball Tonight, which I used to watch all the time on ESPN after his career was over. Jose Guzman, getting into some pitchers here. Guzman, 91 Comeback Player of the Year, which I think punched his ticket into this set. Not much else I could find on Guzman. Chad Curtis. This guy, kind of a sad story. Kind of a sad grade. Need to upgrade this one. I'd like to get at least an 8 if possible. Back-to-back World Series champ for the Yankees in the late 90s. Sentenced to 7 years in prison in 2013. I'll let you guys look that up. Did go to prison later in his life. All right, Cal Eldred. 8.5, Cal Eldred. 14-year MLB career. Pitching coach now. Always happy with an 8.5 grade on these. And Willie Green. We're going to go back-to-back greens here. Gatorade Player of the Year in Georgia. And the Pirates first-round pick in 89. Again, need to upgrade that one. And I do have my alert set for Finest Refractor SGC. So I'm always keeping an eye on what pops up. Tommy Green. Get this guy. If you like Ohtani, I know he didn't end up becoming Ohtani, but in high school he was. In high school, 10-0 record and batted .350 junior year. His senior year, he hit .490, and he struck out 270 batters. Beast. Not a beast in the MLB, but a beast in high school, as most of these guys are, I'm sure. Except Kevin Mitchell, he didn't play in high school. Eric Hansen from the Hansen brothers. I got nothing on Eric Hansen except that he is ending out our video. We got one more part to go. One of my favorite cards from the set, Mike Piazza, coming up. Got a few other really nice players. We'll be doing cards, I guess, 151 through 199 to finish out the set. Make sure you watch video 1. We talk about the boxes. We talk about the pack odds. We talk about the price of this stuff back in 1993. We talk about things Topps announced about this product that they'd never done before. Make sure you go watch these videos. I'll put a link in the description. And check out our website, dynastybreaks.com. Leave in the comments if you have any questions for us or send me an email. Email address is right there on the backdrop. Thanks for watching. Part 4 will be coming up pretty soon.